Hey, what's up guys? John here. March 11th is the date that gig work will be illegal in America according to their proposals.
It would require companies to treat freelancers as employees rather than contractors. That legal distinction could mean more money and protection for workers, but it could also mean higher labor costs for employers.
What they're working on right now, they say that they need to eliminate gig work because people aren't making enough money with side hustles and they need to increase wages to combat inequality and inequity in America. Think about that. Inflation in this country right now is costing the average family $11,500 per year, almost $1,000 every single month. That used to be somebody's rent just a few years ago. Now it's just the bill for inflation due on the first of the month for every family in America. Now, when you look at these job numbers, you look at exactly what's going on, you're going to see one thing clearly. That's the American economy is a house of cards. And removing gig work, it's going to remove the entire backbone. People are going to be giving back their keys on their vehicles. They're going to be giving back the keys to their Airbnbs. You're going to start to see a lot of people not be able to hold on any longer if they lose this side hustle. Because side hustles, that's the new America. People working 2-3 jobs just to keep the lights on.
A record number of people in the U.S. have more than one job.
Nearly 8.4 million people held multiple jobs in October, the largest number since January of 2020.
I'm going to show you what's going on so you can position yourself and prepare in advance. Please hit the like button, hit the like button. YouTube will share this content to educate the people about what's going on in America's economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for what I think is going to be the greatest fire sale of assets we've ever seen in this country, we'd love to help fix your credit so you can get funding. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. One negative item, like a late payment, will stay in your credit report for 7 years. You can drop your credit score a whopping 180 points. You can go from having great credit to bad credit. The difference of having one or a couple items on your report could be the difference of you being able to invest. So if you have any issues, we'd love to help you and give you a free strategy session at GreatCreditFast.com. Take a look at this. So Biden administration issues rule that could curb gig work contracting, right? This is on the 9th. This came out this morning, 6:30 in the morning. Reuters, same exact thing, on the 9th. Just came out about an hour and a half ago. Biden administration issues this rule. Now look at what they're doing here. U.S. Department of Labor on Tuesday issued a final rule that will force companies to treat some workers as employees rather than less expensive independent contractors in a move that has riled business groups and will likely prompt legal challenges. This rule is widely expected to increase labor costs for industries that rely on contract labor or freelancers such as trucking, manufacturing, healthcare, app-based gig services. So Uber, DoorDash. Now, here's how big the gig economy is right now. In 2023, 64 million Americans freelanced. And of these 64 million, rumors are that it's north of 10 million are full-time gig work, meaning they have 2, 3, 4 side hustles, right? So this is a major, major, major number. For context, in America, we have a total of 258 million Americans that are over the age of 18 years old. So you're talking about 30% of the entire U.S. economy is doing some form of gig work to make enough money to survive. So it's a very, very, very big deal. Most federal and state labor laws, such as those requiring a minimum wage and overtime pay, apply only to a company's employees. Studies suggest that employees can cost companies up to 30% more than independent contractors. The rule will require that workers be considered employees rather than contractors when they are economically dependent on a company. It does not go as far as wage laws in California and other states that place even greater limitations on independent contracting. It replaces a regulation by Republican former President Donald Trump administration that has made it easier to classify workers as independent contractors. This rule is likely to be challenged in court by a trade group and businesses. Under this Trump-era rule, workers who owned their own businesses or had the ability to work for competing companies, such as a driver who works for both Uber Technologies and Lyft, could be treated as contractors. Rules set to take effect on the 11th, 62 days. Now think about what this does for small business owners. Think about this. It's going to mean their labor costs are going to continue to rise, right? We're going to see a massive, massive wave of layoffs stepping forward in March, right? This is a big, big, big problem. At the same time, Americans facing this $11,400 annual bill, right, just to afford the basics. But what's very fascinating here is when you start to look at this job report, and you start to look at all this, because they say the economy is great, job numbers are great, everything is good. But the more you start to look at this, the more you're going to start to realize that we're going to walk into a scenario where they're not going to be able to hide these numbers. They're not going to be able to hide what's really happening in this economy. Finding a new job is getting harder. Open positions down more than 15%, according to Indeed last week, right? U.S. payrolls increased 216,000 in December, much better than expected. Now look at this. This came out on the 5th, right? Came out on the 5th, but government quietly erased 439,000 jobs through November 2023. A closer look at the numbers of the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that means that the initial jobs reported were inflated, 439,000 positions, and the job market is not as healthy as they suggest, right? So when they say, oh, we added 216,000, you have to ask yourself, did they? Maybe. Could be, right? They also say that the Fed could slash rates below 3% to maintain a notoriously difficult soft landing. Now, a lot of people are saying that we're going to see interest rate cuts this year, and we're going to see mortgage rates go down, and the real estate market is going to remain very vibrant, and everything's going to be great, right? But they've said that, many people are anticipating anyway, that we're going to start to see rate cuts January of 2023. Yet, they keep pushing it out. Every month, 2 months, they're going to start to see rate cuts. We're not going to hike rates anymore. But I personally believe they're going to keep rates a lot higher for a lot longer. JP Morgan Chase came out saying that interest rates are going to remain at these rates until the end of 2025. So when you start to see these, these little headlines saying that we're going to see rates pull back, look at this. IMF came out in 2007, August 6, 2007, saying soft landing ahead for the U.S. economy, right? This is literally on their website, imf.org, right? Soft landing ahead. Here's what's going on in the labor market. Here's what's happening. So government employees exceed 23 million for the first time. This is 4 days ago. 23 million. So for every one government job, there's 3 workers, right? So 30% of the entire U.S. economy is government jobs. Like that is a massive, massive, massive problem. Because when the government gets bigger, they're going to need more jobs. They're going to need more responsibility. They're going to need more of a say on how we live, where we live, what we do, everything, right? When they're sitting there with 23 million, I mean, the entire state of Florida has about 20 million people. So you're talking about the entire state of Florida and half the state of New Jersey for every single person, man, woman, child, toddler, everybody would be a government employee. Like this is a massive, massive problem because this number, I believe, is going to grow dramatically. There's going to be more welfare, more universal basic income programs. There's going to be more of these subsidy packages coming about as the job market and the economy starts to become much more challenged. U.S. consumer debt soared to new heights the run-up of the holiday season. And in 2022, they said we have 16.38 trillion in consumer debt. Then it rose to 17 trillion in 2023. I mean, what do you think the number is going to be at the end of 2024? 19 trillion? Like 18 trillion? It's only going up. It's only going to go up. And defaults are only going to go up as well. I personally think that 2024 is going to be the year that the economy can no longer hold on. You have $2 trillion in corporate debt that has to get refinanced this year. So corporations are already going to begin issuing layoffs naturally. So they're going to already start to issue these layoffs. They're saying 5,000 jobs per month in 2024. It's going to go to 10,000 jobs per month by 2025. You have to ask yourself, when you see office vacancies, 20% of all offices in America are completely vacant. What is this going to mean? What is this going to mean? It's going to mean one thing, that these offices are going to be going back to the bank and lending is going to continue to contract because lenders are going to start to suffer more and more and more losses on the loans in which they issued on homes, second homes, cars, personal loans, business loans. A lot of problems are going to be incoming for the economy. But I personally think that during periods of true turmoil in the economy, it's when most people get rich. Look at Sam Zell. Look at every single billionaire. They make their real money when people are panicked, when people are scared. But they're putting themselves in a position to where when things hit the fan, they can go out there and buy. Not just, when things get bad, I'm going to go invest. When things get bad, I'm going to do something. But not actually have the cash, not actually have the plan. They're preparing and positioning themselves during the good times so when things hit the fan, they go out there and they capitalize. That's what I wish for everybody. If you look at what's happening, these large corporations, they're sitting on so much money. As this economy falls apart, they're going to go out there and buy land, infrastructure, housing, businesses. They're going to start to put this money to work because they realize that inflation is going to get a lot worse. The economy is, they're way better off buying distressed assets at good prices than holding on to this fiat. And that's what I think they're going to do. They're predicting 40% of all single-family homes in America will be owned by institutional investors in 6 years. How do you think that's going to work? People are going to be losing their jobs in mass form. AI, technology, robotics, general AI, all these things are going to start to come out the next few years. All of this is going to be leveraged to really push more and more people out of work. So you look at this, we're in the great wealth transfer. It started in 2020. It's going to ramp up big time this year, 2024, 2025. What do you think about this entire situation? What's your plan to invest? Are you going to be buying single-family homes, rentals? Are you going to be buying businesses? The time to make moves is this year or next year. Drop below, let's have a conversation. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, maybe getting funding, maybe you want to buy a house, maybe you want to buy a business, maybe you want to buy a work truck, maybe you have some type of plan, you're going to need exceptional credit, 750 and above. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description as well as video. Schedule a free strategy session for tomorrow, and I'll catch you in the next one.